Hey there, Learn English Secrets fam. Ever been in that super important movie scene full of twists and turns and you're just there staring at the subtitles feeling kinda lost? Subtitles help, right? But let's be real, what we really want is to understand everything the characters are saying without having to read. And it's not just in movies, is it? That conversation with a native speaker, that interesting podcast, it feels like the English just disappears, turns into another language. Super frustrating, right? Especially when you put in so much effort, study vocab, grammar, and when it really counts, it's like nothing comes out. But what if I told you there's a secret they don't want you to know? A real reason behind the difficulty of understanding spoken English in movies and TV shows. And surprise, it has nothing to do with a lack of vocabulary or bad ears. Got you curious? Then stick around for this video because today on Learn English Secrets, I'm gonna reveal what they're hiding from you and, best of all, give you the path to finally understand everything. And if you wanna unlock all the secrets to supercharge your English and never miss a detail in your favorite movies and TV shows again, you know what to do. Subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell so you don't miss a thing, and join me on this journey. Get ready to unlock your listening comprehension and master English once and for all. With the secrets I'm about to reveal today, you'll never need subtitles again. Learn English Secrets is gonna show you the way. So let's go. The real listening problem. Today, we're gonna talk about a problem that seriously affects almost everyone learning English, and you can bet you're not alone in this. You know when you're watching an awesome movie, full of action with a super captivating story, and suddenly there's that crucial scene, that twist that changes everything. You're there, totally focused, but wait, what did they just say? Like you're following the subtitles, of course, 'cause they're there to save the day, but deep down, what we really want is to understand what the actors are saying in English without relying on subtitles, right? It's that feeling of, I wanna catch the essence of the scene, the emotion in their voices, the naturalness of the conversation. Because subtitles, let's be honest, they help, but they also kinda distance you from the original experience, right? And then you find yourself thinking, man, I study English so much, I put in the effort to learn new vocab, grammar, do my exercises, but when it really counts, it feels like spoken English turns into a totally different language. It's like the words we know so well on paper just vanish into thin air, turn to smoke, you know. And then you get frustrated, right? Like, is all my effort going to waste? Will I ever be able to truly understand spoken English? Relax, take a deep breath, 'cause that feeling is super normal. And don't think it only happens with movies and TV shows. Sometimes you're trying to follow a super interesting podcast, or in a conversation with a native speaker, online or in person, and suddenly it feels like they start talking super fast. The words all jumble together. It's like a fast and furious of sounds that you can't decipher. It's like there's a secret code, a magic of comprehension that we just can't access, you know? And it undermines our confidence, right? Gives you that feeling of, oh, I guess English isn't for me, or my ears just weren't made to understand this language. But listen up, pay attention here, 'cause I've got some great news for you. It's not a lack of vocabulary, it's not that your ears are bad, none of that. Relax. The problem isn't you, and it's definitely not your ability to learn English. The secret, the key to unlocking this difficulty, is somewhere else, in a specific point that most English students end up overlooking. And we're gonna unravel this secret together, bit by bit, in today's video. I guarantee that by the end of this lesson, you'll have a much clearer understanding of why this difficulty exists, and most importantly, what to do to overcome this barrier to oral comprehension once and for all. So, are you curious to know what this secret is? Are you ready to finally understand why the heck this happens to us? Then stay tuned for the next topic because we're gonna get straight to the point and reveal the mystery behind this secret language of spoken English. Get your notebooks ready cause today's tips are precious and will transform your English learning journey. Trust me and join me in unraveling this listening mystery. Why don't we understand? So, my friend, ready for a reality check? Just kidding, relax, it's nothing scary, but it's something we need to face head-on to start solving this mystery of oral comprehension in English. Have you ever stopped to think about something super curious? Like you pick up a text in English, I don't know, an article, a blog post, even a book, and you read it calmly, word by word, and you can understand almost everything, right? Sometimes you even need to check a dictionary here and there for a word or two that you don't know, but overall the main message gets through, you get the context, understand the idea. Okay, great, everything's beautiful in the world of English reading. But then, my friend, you put on some audio, it could be music, a podcast, a YouTube video, anything spoken in English. And suddenly, poof, it's like it turned into Greek. Like you look at those same words that you understood so well written down, and in the audio, they just disappear, turn into noise, become an indecipherable sonic soup. Weird, right? It's almost as if written English and spoken English were two completely different languages inhabiting parallel universes. And if you feel like that, lost in this sonic labyrinth of English, you can relax, okay? Don't feel alone, don't feel like an alien in the language learning world because it's super, hyper, mega common. It happens to the vast majority of English students of all levels, beginners, intermediate, even the most advanced suffer from this glitch in the auditory system from time to time. So, what's the deal anyway? Why this difference so striking between understanding written English and spoken English? The answer, my dear Watson, is in your brain. It's the great maestro of this comprehension orchestra, and the way it was programmed to recognize English makes all the difference. What happens is this. Your brain, throughout your learning journey, has gotten used to, conditioned to recognize English words in written form. You've spent hours reading texts, books, subtitles, emails, etc. Your eyes have become familiar with the graphemes, with the letters forming the words, and your brain has created neural shortcuts to quickly identify these written words. But, and here's the key, you haven't trained your ear in the same way to recognize these same sounds, these same words, especially when they come at high speed mixed in phrases with different accents with the natural intonation of speech. It's like you know the recipe for a super famous chocolate cake, you've memorized all the ingredients, the method of preparation, you know the written recipe inside and out. But you've never tasted the ready-made cake. You've never felt the flavor of the chocolate, the soft texture of the dough, the delicious aroma that fills the kitchen when it comes out of the oven. Then, suddenly, someone gives you a piece of that cake to taste, blindfolded, and asks you, "What cake is this?" It would be much harder to identify the flavor, right? Even though you know the recipe by heart. With spoken English, it's the same logic. Your ears need specific, targeted training to start getting the nuances of spoken English, the speed at which the words are pronounced, the different accents that exist out there, the way the words join together, connect, change the original sound a little. You know that thing about slurring words when we speak fast? Well, in English, this happens all the time. And if your ear isn't trained to identify these slurs, these sonic variations, it becomes much harder to understand. Understanding the subtitles, as we talked about earlier, is great. It's a super useful tool, but to unlock your English for real, for you to feel confident in any conversation, in any movie, in any situation, we need to up our listening. And how do we do that? What's the path of stones to turn our ears into true radars of spoken English? The answer, my friend, is in the next topic. And get ready, because I'm gonna introduce you to a training method that's simple, effective, and will change the way you look at listening forever. Oh, and before I forget, I want to know, what was the last time you felt lost in the middle of an English conversation or watching a movie? Tell me in the comments. I want to know what stories you have to tell me, and we can exchange ideas about the biggest challenges of oral comprehension. Share it there. Easy to difficult training. Now it's time to talk about the solution, about the treasure map that will guide you towards perfect comprehension of spoken English. And the key word is progression. That's right, progression, going from easiest to hardest, step by step, without skipping stages, building a solid foundation of comprehension. Think with me in a super practical situation. You decide to start working out, to hit the gym hard, to get strong, ripped, with that enviable shape. Would you start lifting weights, already grabbing the heaviest bar right away, like without warming up, without preparing, without anything? Of course not, right? The chance of you getting seriously hurt, of having a serious injury, is huge. And then, instead of getting strong, you would end up staying away from the gym for a long time to recover. With English, with listening, the logic is exactly the same. There's no point in wanting to start at the hard level, in insane mode, trying to understand super complex movies, podcasts with technical vocabulary, ultra-fast conversations with native speakers. If you haven't prepared your listening muscle yet, if you haven't trained your ear in the right way. Scientific studies, serious research prove that starting with easier tasks, with simpler materials, and gradually increasing the challenge is much more effective than jumping straight to the expert level, to the most difficult content. It's like building a house, you know. You don't start with the roof, you need a strong base, firm foundations to support the whole structure. It's the same with listening. If you try to understand a super complex movie right away, full of slang, different accents, fast dialogues, full of cultural references that you don't know, the chance of you getting frustrated, of you feeling lost, demotivated, is huge. And then, what happens? You get discouraged, think you can't do it, that English isn't for you, that your ear is broken, and end up throwing in the towel before you even start to see the results. But if we start slowly, with simpler content, easier to understand, the progress comes naturally, organically, and best of all, we stay motivated. Because with each audio you understand, with each video you watch and comprehend, the feeling of "I understood it" gives you an extra boost, motivates you to continue, gets you addicted to learning more and more. It's as if each small victory were one more step on the ladder of fluency, bringing you closer and closer to your final goal, which is to understand spoken English naturally and confidently. And to prove to you that this isn't just theory, that it's not just my guesswork, in the next topic I'm gonna tell you about a super interesting study, a real scientific research that they did with 2 groups of English students. Get ready to be surprised by the results, because they confirm in every way that the path from easy to difficult is the smartest and most effective to unlock your listening. So, stay tuned, don't go anywhere, because the next topic is revealing and will give you even more motivation to keep moving forward on this journey towards understanding spoken English. And tell me in the comments, do you usually start your listening training with easier content, or do you jump straight into the most difficult ones? Share your experience. I want to know what your current strategy is, and if you had ever stopped to think about this importance of progression. Comment there. Study proves the strategy. So curious to know the result of the research I told you about? Get ready, because the scientists put their hands on and proved with numbers and data what we already kinda intuited in practice. Starting with the easy and going to the difficult in listening makes all the difference. You know that popular saying that, in theory, practice is different. Well, in this specific case, practice not only confirmed the theory but gave a show of proof with full force. The researchers did a super well-elaborated listening test with 2 groups of people who were learning English, similar to us, who want to unlock listening once and for all. They divided the participants into two groups as if they were two teams in a championship. The first group, let's call them Team Hard, only trained with super difficult audios, the kind that we struggle to understand, you know. Like complex academic lectures, heated debates, science fiction movies with elaborate language, podcasts on super specific and technical topics. Only hardcore, only content for experts in English. The other group, the Team Easy, did the opposite. Started with much easier audios, easier to understand, and gradually increased the level of difficulty, as we discussed in the previous topic. They started with simple everyday dialogues, informal conversations, excerpts from podcasts with more accessible language, educational videos with clear and paused explanations. And then, after a period of training, the two groups were put to the test, took a final listening test, a decisive round to see who would do better in understanding spoken English. And guess what happened? Who do you think won this battle of listening? It may seem surprising, but the group that started on easy and went to difficult, the Team Easy, did better in the difficult test than the group that only trained on difficult, the Team Hard. Incredible, right? Like the people who took it easier in the beginning, who started with simpler audios, achieved a superior performance in understanding complex audios than those who only trained with heavy material from the start. It's as if the Team Easy had built such a solid base of understanding, so well structured, that they managed to scale to the highest levels much more easily and safely. The Team Hard, who started with everything, kinda drowned in the complexity, couldn't develop the basic skills of understanding and ended up floundering, even trying their best. This proves, scientifically and unquestionable, that our brain learns better, processes information more effectively, when we give it a gradual path to follow, without rushing, without skipping stages, building understanding step by step, as if they were Lego blocks that we are fitting together to form a complete and resistant construction. The moral of the story, the great teaching that we take from this study. If you're struggling to understand spoken English, if you feel frustrated for not being able to follow movies, podcasts, conversations with native speakers, it's no use insisting on the same mistake. Keep repeating the same broken strategy that is not giving you results. The secret, the trick to unlock your listening once and for all is to take a step back, simplify things, start with the basics, with the easy, and move forward little by little with intelligence and strategy. And in the next topic, I'm gonna give you the path of stones in practice, concrete and easy to apply tips for you to put this strategy into action and start reaping the rewards of a smart and effective listening training. So stay tuned, don't go anywhere, because the next topic is pure gold for those who want to boost oral comprehension in English. And taking advantage that we are talking about this super interesting study, I want to know your opinion. Had you ever imagined that starting with the easiest could bring better results in the long run? What did you think of this discovery? Share your impressions here in the comments. Let's exchange ideas about this strategy and how it can transform our way of learning English. Comment there. Don't insist on difficult. So ready to turn the key to your listening? Have you already reflected on the study we just saw? Well, science is there to show us the way, and now it's time to get our hands dirty and apply this knowledge in practice. And the first big key turn, the first click you need to have in your mind is stop insisting on difficult. That's right, without mincing words. If you're suffering, killing yourself to understand a super complex movie, a podcast full of jargon, a conversation with a native speaker who seems like a steamroller of words, stop. Take a break, take a deep breath, and change your strategy. There's no point in repeating the same thing 1,000 times, watching the same excerpt from the movie on an infinite loop, waiting for a miracle to happen, for comprehension to fall from the sky like magic. Miracles don't fall from the sky, my friend, but smart strategies, effective methods, oh, that does work in a lot. Repeating the same difficult task, the same complex exercise without having the right base, without having the fundamental skills developed, will only leave you more frustrated, more discouraged, and make you waste precious time that you could be investing in a smarter and more productive training. It's like trying to build a house starting with the roof, you know. There's no way, it simply doesn't work, it's illogical, it's counterproductive. The path is another, the secret is simplify. Go back a few houses on the learning board, take a step back on the difficulty scale, and start with easier, slower, clearer, more appropriate content to your current level of comprehension. Build your base of understanding calmly, patiently, consistently, brick by brick, step by step. Start with shorter audios with slower speakers with topics you already master a little vocabulary. Use study materials made especially for beginners, for those who are starting the journey in listening. Don't be ashamed to go back to basics, to revisit simpler content. On the contrary, this is a sign of intelligence, of strategy, of maturity in learning. It's understanding that learning is a journey, a marathon, not a 100-meter dash. It's having the wisdom to build a solid base before trying to climb Everest. And always remember, no one starts playing the piano as an orchestra conductor, no one learns to drive Formula One on the first day of driving school, no one becomes a master of listening overnight. Everything requires time, practice, dedication, and especially the right strategy. And now that you understand the importance of simplifying, of not insisting on difficult, are you ready to get your hands dirty to start applying this key turn to your listening training? In the next topic, I'm going to give you the first practical tip, the first secret tool for you to start making everything easier, lighter, more understandable in your listening. So stay tuned, don't go anywhere, because the next tip is pure gold for those who want to unlock oral comprehension in English once and for all. And are you enjoying the tips so far? If this video has already helped you understand why you get stuck in listening and has given you a north to start changing this situation, take this moment and leave your like here below. It's quick, it costs nothing, and it helps me a lot to know that this type of content is relevant to you and that it's worth continuing to bring incredible tips like this to boost your English. So you know, right? Leave the like, strengthen the channel, and let's go to the next topic, towards fluency in listening. Step 1. Make listening easier. The first secret tool, the real trick for you to unlock your listening once and for all is to slow down the audio. I know, it even seems kinda bland, it's so simple, right? But trust me, this tip is more powerful than you can imagine. You know, when you try to follow a super fast conversation in Portuguese, even with a friend who speaks really quickly, sometimes we ask the person to speak more slowly so we can understand everything, right? It's exactly the same thing with English, but instead of asking the native speaker to speak more slowly, which isn't always possible, we use a super easy technological trick. We slow down the audio. Think of it this way, when you're driving on a foggy road, don't you slow down to see the road better? It's the same logic. Slowing down the audio in English is like turning on the headlights in the fog of listening, clearing the way for your understanding. When we hear spoken English very fast, especially in the beginning, it seems like the words trip over each other, turn into a sonic mess. It's a lot of information coming all at once for your brain to process. But when you slow down a little, the words gain space, become more distinct, as if each one gains a spotlight. You can hear each sound more clearly, identify the syllables, perceive the nuances of pronunciation. It's as if you were giving a giant zoom to the audio, you know? Like those scenes in a police movie that zoom in on the image so we can see an important detail. Suddenly everything becomes clearer, easier to decipher. And the best part is that doing this is super easy. Nowadays, practically all the platforms we use to consume content in English have this speed control function. YouTube, podcasts on Spotify, audio news apps, online course platforms. Just look for the settings or playback speed icon and choose a slower speed. Start with 0.75x, which is a little slower than normal, and see how you feel. If it's still a little fast, try 0.5x. Don't be afraid to experiment and find the speed that works best for you. And don't think that slowing down is cheating or that you're making it too easy. On the contrary, you're using a smart tool to train your ear more efficiently. It's like using training wheels on a bicycle when we're learning to ride. The training wheels give us security and balance so we can get the hang of it. Then, when we're already confident, we take off the training wheels and start pedaling alone. It's the same thing with listening. Start slowly with reduced speed to build a solid foundation of understanding. And then, little by little, you increase the speed until you can understand English at normal speed without needing training wheels. And trust me, this magic of slowing down is the first step for you to start understanding everything in English. Start with easy, clear. Now that you've grasped the power of slowing down, another crucial question arises. What kind of content should we use to start this turbocharged listening journey? Because there's no point in slowing down a super complex audio full of difficult words, right? We have to be strategic in this choice too. So forget for now those action movies with explosions and super fast dialogues, the police series full of slang and different accents, the podcasts about quantum physics in English. Calm down, we'll get there. But for now, the order is to simplify as much as possible. Remember that thing about starting from easy to difficult. So when choosing content to train listening, the logic is the same. We have to start with audios that are slower, clearer, and above all, easier to understand. Think of those English for Beginners videos you find on YouTube. You know those videos that explain the alphabet, the numbers, the colors in English? Well, they're perfect for starting. I know it may seem boring, it may seem too basic for you who have been studying English for a while. But trust me, starting with the basics is essential to build a solid foundation. It's like building a house. We don't start with the roof, do we? We start with the foundation, with the footings. And with listening, it's the same thing. These simpler, slower, more didactic contents are like the foundation of your listening. They'll help you get your ear used to the sounds of English, recognize the most common words, get familiar with the pronunciation. After you have this foundation firm, then yes, we can start to climb the floors of this construction, going to more challenging content. Another golden tip is to look for podcasts or YouTube channels that have interviews or conversations that are calmer about subjects of your interest, but with a more accessible language. You know those chat podcasts, interviews with famous people, conversations about everyday topics. They usually have a more informal, more everyday language, which makes comprehension much easier, especially in the beginning. Avoid content that is too technical, too academic, too formal, at least for now. Look for audios that you feel you can follow even with a little effort. The important thing is that it's something manageable that gives you a feeling of I can understand this, that motivates you to continue practicing. Because the worst thing that can happen is that you start with a super complex content, get frustrated for not understanding anything, and end up giving up on training listening. So remember, start with the easy, start with the clear, start with the basic. And little by little, you'll build your confidence and your ability to understand. And are you already thinking about which podcasts or YouTube channels you're going to start using? Are you already imagining how good it will be to understand those videos and audios that used to seem like Greek? I know you can do it. And in the next topic, we're going to take the next step in this journey: how to increase the challenge gradually so you don't get stuck in basic English forever. Step 2. Increase the challenge. Congrats! If you're already understanding the audios in slow and easy speed, you're doing great. You've already taken a giant step towards fluency in listening. But hey, don't get too comfortable in your comfort zone, huh? Learning English is like a staircase. We have to climb step by step to get to the top. And now that you've built a solid foundation, it's time to go up another step, to increase the challenge a little bit. Remember that we started by slowing down the audios. So now we're going to start increasing that speed little by little. Slowly but surely, that's our philosophy. If you were training with audios at 0.75x of the normal speed, for example, try switching to 0.85x. Then when you feel comfortable at that speed, switch to 0.9x and so on. The important thing is to increase the speed gradually without rushing at your own pace. Feel which speed challenges you a little but still allows you to understand most of the content. You know that feeling of I understood almost everything but I had to pay close attention? That's the right measure. It can't be so easy that you understand everything without any effort, because then there's no challenge, no learning. But it also can't be so difficult that you don't understand anything and get frustrated. Remember, the ideal point is the one that requires a little concentration, but that gives you the feeling of progress, that you're evolving. Increasing the speed gradually is like a workout for your ear. It's as if you were teaching your brain to process English faster and faster, in the same way that it's naturally spoken by natives. It's a workout for your brain to get used to the rhythm, to the melody, to the fluidity of the English language. And don't worry if you feel a little difficulty at higher speeds in the beginning. It's normal. It's like when we start running on the treadmill. In the beginning, we start with a slower speed, then as we gain endurance, we gradually increase the speed. It's the same thing with listening. Patience and persistence are your greatest allies in this journey. And hey, an extra tip. Besides increasing the speed, you can also start experimenting with content that is a little more challenging in terms of vocabulary and complexity of sentences. If you were using English videos for beginners, for example, you can start migrating to slightly more advanced videos with slightly more elaborate themes. But always remember to increase the challenge gradually, one step at a time. And tell me in the comments, at what speed are you training your listening now? Have you already tried to increase the speed of the audios? How was your experience? Share your difficulties and your progress with us. Let's exchange ideas and motivate each other in this journey towards fluency. And don't forget to leave your like on this video if you're enjoying the tips and feeling more confident to unlock your listening. Always change the stimulus. So, are you already able to understand the audios at normal speed well? That's awesome. You really deserve congratulations. But hey, pay attention, alert on. Don't get too comfortable at this level of comfort, huh? If you only train with the same type of audio, with the same speaker at the same speed, your English may end up stagnating, you know. It's as if your ears get too used to that stimulus and stop evolving. So the watchword now is variety. Always change the stimulus, challenge your ears with new things, get out of your sonic comfort zone. Start varying the speakers, for example. If you were used to only hearing Americans speaking English, try listening to British, Australians, Canadians, South Africans. Each accent has its particularities, its nuances, its special flavor. And getting your ear used to this diversity of accents is essential for you to understand English in any situation, with anyone, anywhere in the world. In addition to changing the accents, also change the speaking styles. Try listening to people speaking more formally, more informally, faster, slower, with different intonations and rhythms. The more you expose your ears to this variety of speaking styles, the more flexible and adaptable your listening will become. And don't just stick to podcasts and interviews, huh? Get out of the routine, explore other types of audio and video content. Watch vlogs, documentaries, cooking videos, gaming videos, music videos. The more variety of themes and formats you consume, the more complete and comprehensive your listening training will be. And even music is worth it. Start paying attention to the lyrics of the songs in English that you like. Try to follow the lyrics while listening to the music, identify the words, understand the meaning. It's a super fun and relaxing way to train listening. Don't stick to a single type of content, a single theme, a single speaker. The fun of learning English lies precisely in this diversity, in this wealth of possibilities. Explore, experiment, discover new sonic worlds, new voices, new ways of speaking English. And remember, constancy is fundamental, but variety is the seasoning that will give an up to your learning. So always change the stimulus, challenge your ears, and continue advancing towards fluency. And in the next and last topic, we're going to talk about the final challenge, the icing on the cake, the hard level of listening, movies without subtitles. Ready to face this challenge? Final challenge, movies without subtitles. The time has come, my friend. The moment you've been waiting for, the last step of our journey towards total comprehension of movies and series in English. Prepare the popcorn, settle on the sofa, turn off the lights, and press play on the movie without subtitles. Take a deep breath, trust yourself, and go. I know, in the beginning it may give you butterflies in your stomach. It may seem like a shock, like jumping into a pool of cold water in winter. But calm down, don't despair, don't panic. Remember everything we've learned and practiced so far. You've come a long way, you've trained your ears with audios that are slower, easier, more varied. You are much more prepared than you think to face this challenge. If in the first minutes of the movie you feel that it's very difficult, that you're not understanding almost anything, don't worry, it's normal. It happens to everyone in the beginning. At that time, use that trick that we learned in the beginning: slow down the movie. Most video players such as YouTube, Netflix, Amazon Prime Video allow you to control the playback speed. Slow down the movie by 5%, by 10%, just a little bit already makes a huge difference. You'll see how the speeches will become clearer, easier to follow. And the important thing is that you won't need the subtitles to save you. Subtitles can be a crutch that prevents you from developing your listening for real. Without subtitles, your ears will be forced to work more, to concentrate more, to identify the words, to understand the context, to guess what you didn't understand. And this extra effort is fundamental for your learning. Watch the movie little by little at a reduced speed, and when you feel more comfortable, gradually increase the speed until you can watch at normal speed and understand most of the speeches without subtitles. And don't be too hard on yourself. You don't need to understand 100% of everything. The important thing is to understand the general idea, the context of the scene, the main information. Some more specific words or expressions may go unnoticed in the beginning, but that's okay. With constant practice, you will increase your vocabulary and your ability to understand more and more. And the feeling of victory when you can watch a whole movie without subtitles, understanding the story, laughing at the jokes, getting emotional with the scenes. That feeling is simply incredible. It's one of the greatest rewards of learning English. It's the proof that all your effort was worth it. So prepare the popcorn, choose a movie or a series that you love, and jump into this final challenge. I'm sure that with these tips and with your dedication, you will unlock your listening once and for all and finally understand everything they say on the big screen. Let's practice and marathon your favorite movies and series in English. Conclusion. Hey everyone, we've reached the end of another super important video here on Learn English Secrets, and today we unraveled the mystery of why the English in movies sometimes seems to disappear, right? But now, with all these tips we've seen, there's no more subtitle that can hold you back. You already know that the secret is to start slowly, to pause the rush and go up the level little by little. Remember, no starting the marathon with a super fast action movie, Start in easy mode, slow down the speed, get your ear used to it, and then speed up. And did you like the tips? If this video opened your eyes and gave you a boost to finally understand everything in English, you know what to do, right? Leave that super special like here below to strengthen the channel and show YouTube that this video is top. And if you want to continue receiving the most incredible secrets to boost your English, subscribe to the channel and activate the bell so you don't miss anything. This way you stay on top of all the news and don't miss any of our little secrets. And now, as usual, let's test your ears. Pay attention to today's secret phrase, slow and steady in English. So, did you get it? Write in the comments what you understood and complete this secret phrase in a super creative and fun way. I want to see your imagination booming. With Learn English Secrets, the secrets of English are no longer hidden, you see. We show you the way for you to unlock it once and for all. Keep practicing and keep discovering the Learn English secrets by clicking on this video or this playlist right here. See you in the next video.